I will now introduce our panel and introducing our first speaker, Dr. Rohit Kishore. Dr. Kishore is a university academic and a consultant with over 26 years of experience. He has a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in economics and finance from Australian universities. He has served in substantial positions as a director at the Fiji National University, senior lecturer at the University of the South Pacific, assistant professor at the University of San Diego, USA, and various academic positions at Western Sydney University, Australia. Dr. Kishore's research crosses several disciplines, including management, economics, and he is a finance, investment, public sector finance, land economics, and climate change. He has several publications in ranked academic journals and edited papers and supervised and examined master's and doctorate dissertations. Dr. Kishore has been a consultant to several esteemed institutions, and he is an awardee of several teaching excellence and research grants. He is a proud Fiji citizen, and he currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the Fiji Higher Education System. So we welcome to the floor Dr. Kishore as our first panel speaker. Thank you.
Our esteemed panelists, CEO, invited guests, and university vice chancellors, ladies and gentlemen. This, I would say, I think the CEO said, I'm going to defend. I'm not going to defend. I'm used to these things. I've been overseas in many universities and worked with organizations. You know what happens, and today I'll share some of my experiences and hear you, and then take it back and try to improve where we lack. There are several issues that brings to fore such situations. Let me start this way. I mean, we have started this sort of dialogue and roundtable discussion, and we are currently looking at the tourism and hospitality sector. We had a meeting, I think Assistant Minister Honorable Kiran organized it with other ministers. We had a meeting in Sheraton, and we heard the hotel owners, managers, trainers, chief executives, directors, their concerns. And we brought that concern back. We took notes and brought it back, and then follow on. So this is very important. We should not leave it. And I would invite, and I'll sort of request and suggest that this happens here as well. Of course, you know, tourism industry is very important for us. It contributes around 35-40% to the GDP growth for our nation. So we started with that sector, and we plan to go sector by sector. The system that I really like, the New Zealand system they have workforce development councils, and they have 6 workforce development councils, and they've sort of demarcated 6 sectors to include the whole economy. And there's a continuous dialogue that must take place. It should not be a sort of one-off situation where situations become difficult and we jump in a reactive manner and do things. So that sort of planning is in the way. So what we did with the tourism industry, we brought it back, and then coming back here, of course, as you know, Fiji National University is the biggest provider in this area of hospitality and tourism. And then we had a meeting at the Nasese Training Center there, the School of Hospital and Tourism. And what we did, we again called the hotel reps, the resort representatives on one side, and the service providers on the other side. And that included USP, FNU, UniFiji, and other training organizations that we have. And this is what we did. We sort of had a good roundtable Talanwa session. What's happening, why there is a problem, where there is a mismatch. Let's correct the mismatch. And I want to share some of the experience out of the roundtable. And what we did, the third stage that we are reaching in that sector, we have taken notes and shared both sides, the industry side and the service provider side. One thing, again, I'm not defending, but this is what happens. I think it's more of a misalignment that came to fore in that session. For example, one of the key things, and I'm sure it might come here too, is the soft skill, is the etiquettes of our graduates. The soft skill, the writing skill, the thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, all this sort of thing comes to situation many times. And we then, this side we had the universities and training providers. We sort of shared why it's happening. We looked at the curriculum where we can make our students think more, think out loud, and demonstrate themselves more. So this sort of thing came out. And the other thing that came out, the tourism and hospitality industry is largely served by TVET certificate holders. And some of the demands that were put on them, so this is what I mean, there's a misalignment. You really need, there was issues of system, not understanding system. The large hotel, for example, Sheraton, Sofitel and others, they use sophisticated system. Of course, our graduates need time to understand that. They need on-job training post their academic qualifications to understand that. And the other thing that came out of that sort of was that, they needed more management, they needed more out-thinking management level. And so that's where I said, you need a bachelor's sort of a level of, graduates out there to think. So this sort of thing, it's not defending, but this sort of thing came out of that. And we took notes of that, and another thing came out that some of them are slow pickers. That's, we are human beings. Some of us are smart, we catch up things and run with it quickly. Some of us take more than others to learn on the job and go. There is talk on the TVET side about apprenticeship. As you know, apprenticeship is a process where students learn on the job. They come back to schools, do theory, and then go back and learn and carry on that way. At the higher education side, we have graduate trainees, and these graduate trainees working. One of the first sector that complained most was the accounting sector, the business sector, the banking sector. I'm talking about these things going back. And there we had a situation, now we have a graduate trainee system, put in place. And graduate trainee, you must understand that graduate trainees are graduate trainees. They're post, coming out of their degrees, and they're just very fresh graduates. So graduate trainee for a year or two. And I have heard that. I've heard this many places, not only in Fiji. Before COVID, Australia, New Zealand, USA, UK, where I've been, I have heard all this. There the industry is more aggressive. We are good here. They say, oh, your graduates are not good to us till for another 2 years or so. We have to really pay them for no reason for 2 years to train them, but that's the way. And the other thing that I think I'm running out of time, the other thing is that, what we're having in the industry, a very experienced and qualified people are leaving. So we're trying to fill that gap with young graduates. So we have to understand. We have to sort of train them and get them there. These are sort of the things. And there are other challenges that we are facing. So we want to, and the other thing that coming out, in the phase, we are part of that committee, National Development Plan, which is going to, put a overarching what the country wants, where are we going, and underneath that is the HR development plan, right? And this is where HR development plan and some of the ideas we're putting from the New Zealand scheme that you have, each sectors, like 5 or 6 sectors divided, and this will be a continuous sort of oversee and dialogue in each sector where we are going wrong, so that we can correct these things progressively and work together rather than reacting. I think I'll stop there, and I'm happy to listen and take notes and answer questions. Nak.